Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are located. Thank you all so much for joining Amtrak Vacations as today we feature traveling coast to coast by train, what you need to know. Folks, thanks so much for joining us here today. I did want to mention before we get started, on the right-hand side of your screen, everyone, we have some helpful handouts. So please be sure to download those handouts before the end of today's presentation. And also, folks, on the right-hand side of your screen is the question box. So I want you to feel free to type in any questions that you may have, and I will do my very best to get to as many as possible. Folks, we have 1,736 folks that have registered for today's presentation. So thank you all so much. Today's presentation is scheduled to be about 45 minutes, give or take, as I will save time for questions at the end. However, before we get started, everyone, just to have a little bit of fun, if you'd be so kind, in your question box on the right-hand side of your screen, folks, how about typing in what great city, what great town, what great state, what great country are you calling in from, folks? So feel free to type into the question box on the right-hand side. Give yourselves a little shout out. We have Martinsburg, Pennsylvania, Tallahassee, Florida, Greenville, South Carolina, Vero Beach, Florida, Central Texas, Vermont, Providence, Boston, Columbia, Kentucky, Nashua, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Georgia, another Boston, Toronto, Ontario. I knew we'd have some. DC, Wisconsin, Virginia Beach, Mission, Kansas, San Diego, sunny San Diego. Love it. Keep them coming, everyone. Fantastic. Well, we appreciate all of you being here. So with that in mind, everyone, I wanted to just take a minute to introduce myself. My name's Jim Marini, and I'll probably be a host here today. And I've been on board 7 years with our company and certainly couldn't be with a better organization. And one thing's for sure, people are staying closer to home. People are traveling, or certainly will be traveling closer to homes. Do you have friends and family you'd like to see? Do you just want to get out of the house? Maybe you have a little cabin fever? We can help you do that. Whether you're looking to travel as early as later this year or anytime in 2021. Before we get started, though, I did want to give everyone a little overview. We are part of the Yankee Leisure Group family of brands. So if you look all the way to the left-hand side, folks, we are the official tour operator of Amtrak itself, and that's Amtrak Vacations. So we can book everything for you from literally train plus hotel, sightseeing tours, meals, activities. We have packages all put together, but any of the trips can be customized. So this is great for any of you joining us here today that maybe you don't like to fly, or you don't want to fly, or maybe you don't feel like driving, okay? Or you're looking for something different. We got you covered with the Amtrak Vacations. Also, we do operate Yankee Holidays. This is more for your road trips, your driving vacations, also here in the United States. So any of you that are looking to stay closer to home, you can have the option of either going by train with the Amtrak Vacations or by road, as we also can do car rentals with the Yankee Holidays. And then all the way to the right-hand side is our latest and greatest brand. This is Rail Bookers. This is all of our Canadian, our European, our worldwide rail vacations. Certainly for any of you that have dreams and goals of traveling around the world. And here's the best part of all three brands, folks. You could travel on any of these trips literally from tomorrow locally right here in the United States up to 24 months in advance. Yes, you can give us a call or contact your local travel advisor to book any of these trips to travel as early as the late summer and fall of this year or any time in the next 1 to 2 years, all right, which is great. One other point I'll mention on these brands, folks, they are all independent style vacations, flexible independent travel, otherwise known as FIT in the travel industry. What does that mean? Unlike a traditional guided bus tour where from 6 in the morning till 8 in the morning it's breakfast, from 8 to 12 it's sightseeing, from 12 to 2 it's lunch, from 2 to 5 it's more sightseeing, from 5 to 7 it's dinner, from 7 p.m. on there's an evening activity, and that is most every single day on a guided bus tour. You see, folks, with us, on certain days, we may have a full day guided tour or a half a day guided tour, but that's with the local tour guide. Or in some cases, if you're traveling out to the beautiful national parks, with a local park ranger. But then on another day, you may have a day at leisure. You may want to have a rental car to go explore the park or the great town or village or city on your own. We also have so many folks that will do a little bit of shopping, sightseeing, hiking, fishing, visiting family, friends, whatever you choose. That's the beauty when it comes to independent style vacations. Now, I always love showing this map, folks. This is the Amtrak routes across the United States. Do you know last year alone, over 31 million people traveled on board Amtrak. Over 31 million people. So if Amtrak was an airline, it would actually be the fifth largest airline in all of the United States. Now, folks, I mentioned it right at the beginning of today's presentation. I've been on board 7 years, and I got to tell you, I have never seen, now more than ever, so many folks that are choosing to travel by train versus plane. All right. So if you're looking for something different, or again, if you don't like to fly or you don't want to fly and maybe be stuck in a middle seat, okay, how about considering a travel, certainly across country, or even for a local getaway trip right near where you live? Do you know there's over 500 Amtrak stations in the United States that you could start or end your trip at? All right. And interestingly enough, the trains actually travel to 46 out of the 48 states within the continental United States. In fact, the only two states the trains do not physically go through are the states of South Dakota and Wyoming. All right, folks, let's get started and let's move into one of the first iconic coast to coast rail vacations. And this is our American majestic landscapes. This really is bringing you throughout the heart of the country, right? Not only in the great city of Chicago, but starting in the great city of New York, traveling through Denver, ending in San Francisco. And by the way, any of our trips can be customized, all right? So if you like this trip, but you maybe want to start in San Francisco and end in New York, and it can go in either direction. You can add extra nights if you choose. You can take out nights. But if you look at this map, folks, this will serve as a good example to the trips that I'm going to highlight here today. The red line that you see, right, from New York out to Chicago, Chicago out to San Francisco, that's the train routes. Those are the train routes, okay? The number one in a red triangle, that just lets you know those are overnight journeys on board the train. So as you can see, you actually have 3 overnight opportunities where you can upgrade to a sleeper. And we're going to get into that a little later in today's presentation as I give you a nice little overview in the seating and sleeping accommodation. And I will mention, folks, all right, and hopefully I'm going to mention it again. Stay tuned, because at the end of today's presentation, you do not want to miss out on what I'm going to share with each and every one of you that have taken the time to join us today. We have a real special, exciting update and offer to announce to all of you, okay? So stay tuned for that. By the way, the round black circles with the number 2, that just lets you know how many nights that you're in each of these great cities. And again, if you want to add extra nights, if you want to stay 3 nights in Denver, as an example, instead of 2 nights, we or your local travel advisor can help you with those arrangements. But just to kind of walk you through this package, folks, after you spend a couple great nights in the great city of New York, you are boarding the Lakeshore Limited, folks. This is the overnight train that will take you from New York out to the great city of Chicago, and you'll get a chance to enjoy the scenery along the journey as you travel along the south shore of Lake Michigan, the Mohawk River, as well as the Erie Canal. All right, and this is the train that will bring you over into one of my personal favorite cities, Chicago. Folks, if you like deep dish pizza, all right, if you like Chicago hot dogs, even if you're not a sports fan, you got to check out Wrigley Field, home of the Chicago Cubs. All right, how about Chicago's famous Second City Comedy Club? These are some of the fun activities that you could do during your leisure time, during your free time. We also do include a hop on, hop off style tour, okay, as well as an opportunity to travel in and around some of these great sites, whether it's the Navy Pier down in the bottom right hand corner, okay, the Shed Aquarium, so much to see and do. And folks, if you're like me, I love experiencing some of the local cuisine throughout the United States. I'm sure wherever each of you are located, and I saw a great selection of some fantastic cities and states throughout the US as well as Canada. I'm sure if I were to come to your home area, you're going to let me know, Jim, you got to try this type of cuisine. Well, guess where I'm located? Boston. Where's Boston? New England. What's popular in September and October? The fall foliage. What type of cuisine am I going to suggest? Seafood, lobster. All right, folks. Now, what's the train that you travel on from Chicago out to the great city of Denver, continuing on to San Francisco? You are looking at it. This is the California Zephyr. And by the way, a little fun trivia for all of you. Do you know all the trains that go from Chicago heading west out into the western United States, they are known as superliner trains, double-decker trains. And when you talk about a train that literally slices in and outside the mountains, you are looking at it. This is the California Zephyr, especially when you go through the great state of Colorado, in particular through the beautiful Rocky Mountains. And speaking of Colorado, we do get a chance to spend 2 nights in this great city of Denver. By the way, the train station, one of my favorite train stations throughout the United States, not to mention Union Station in Chicago. But Denver is more of a modern style train station. Do you know there's actually a hotel inside of the train station? They have a restaurant, they have a coffee shop. Such a fantastic city, otherwise known as the Mile High City. You will spend 2 nights here. You'll also be treated for a nice tour, as well as the view of the beautiful Rocky Mountains. And before you know it, you continue your journey on to Emeryville, which is located right outside of San Francisco, where then you'll be treated for 2 nights in this great city. And I will mention all the great cities, folks. Let me give you another great example of why traveling on all these independent style vacations is such a great highlight. You get to choose whether you want to stay at a 3, a 4, or a 5-star hotel. You get to choose if you want to stay at a 3, 4, or 5 diamond hotel. Whatever your budget is, whatever your price point is, we or your local travel advisor will work with you to find the right trip at the right price. So, by the way, speaking of prices too, all the pricing that you see here today, these are based on double occupancy. So per person, 2 to a room, all right? Any of you that are traveling as singles, okay, or solo travelers, just let us or your local travel advisor know, and we'll let you know what those rates will be. By the way, let me share with all of you something exciting that I've been sharing with every one of our travelers. And again, folks, we have a fantastic audience joining us here today. Now until September 30th, okay, anytime from now until September 30th of this year, when you book with a small deposit, by the way, deposits are only about $250 per person. When you book with us or through your local travel advisor with a small deposit of $250 per person before September 30th of this year to travel anytime this year or anytime in 2021, you will automatically qualify for the maximum flexibility offer, okay? This is what it sounds like, and this is such a great highlight. This will allow you that peace of mind to know that you're covered. If you did need to cancel or you did need to postpone or change your travel dates for whatever the reason is, folks, this will give you that peace of mind. Basically, we are waiving any and all change and cancellation fees. All right, moving along. Here is another great package, Highlights of America, coast to coast. Now, unlike the last package, everyone, which goes from New York to Chicago out to San Francisco, this is a great package that goes from New York to Chicago, but it actually goes the southern route. This travels down into the beautiful state of Arizona into Los Angeles. Now, this package happens to begin in Washington, D.C. So this is a little bit shorter. Okay, and any of you that are interested in Washington, D.C., you have this opportunity to see this great city. Folks, you can tell I'm passionate and excited about these trips, and I hope you are as well. Now, the trip and the train that you travel on is called the Capital Limited. This is the train that will bring you from Washington, D.C. out to the great city, once again, of Chicago. And I will mention Chicago is really the heartbeat. It's really the core of the whole Amtrak system from the United States, okay? This is where so many of the overnight trips depart from, as well as the trains arrive in. And if you look at the map, which I'll show you later in today's presentation, you will see all these iconic train journeys that start or end in the great city of Chicago. Now, what's the train that you travel on from Chicago out to the great state of Arizona? You are looking at it, folks. This is the Southwest Chief, all right, that will take you out into Arizona as well as Los Angeles. And again, another double-decker, another superliner train. And just a reminder, again, all the trains from Chicago heading west in the western United States, they are known as superliner trains. Now, this right here, folks, this is one of the 7 wonders of the world. Now, you know what's more popular now more than ever is traveling to the U.S. national parks. So not only traveling coast to coast, but why not tie in some of the beautiful national parks? And you could do that with the Grand Canyon. Now, the Grand Canyon is open year-round. So for any of you that are located in different parts of the United States that might be a little bit cooler or snowier or rainier, okay, this is a great park to travel to. And this is open year round. Also, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner, folks, this is the Grand Canyon Railway. Now, this is not part of the Amtrak system, but guess what? We still include it on all of our trips to the beautiful Grand Canyon. This is the train, folks, that will take you from Williams, Arizona into the south rim of the Grand Canyon. Now, it's only about a 2-hour train ride, so I always recommend to reach out to your travel advisor or to give us a call and ask about upgrading to either the dome or the rail car. All right, the dome or the rail car. It's a little bit more expensive per person, but this is the car, folks, that has the big glass dome windows. All right, the seats are larger. They have snacks and refreshments on board the train. There's also live entertainment. Not to mention, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, that is a picture of El Tovar, one of the iconic lodges located in the south rim of the Grand Canyon. Now, here's the best news, folks. Most of those lodges sometimes will book up a year to 2 years in advance. We can get space inside those lodges, all right? And it's really where you want to be if any of you are considering the Grand Canyon. Now, here's a little map of what the south rim of the Grand Canyon looks like. And I will say it's very easy to get in and around to some of the different restaurants and shops. They have shuttles. Also, it's very walkable as well if you choose. By the way, I mentioned El Tovar, but we also use Kachina Lodge. We use Yavapai Lodge, Maswick Lodge, lots of exciting lodges. And I know I mentioned earlier, considering an upgrade to the dome car or the parlor car, that's a picture of what it looks like inside in the top left-hand corner. All right, so as you can see, those big glass dome windows. And again, it's only about a 2-hour train ride from Williams, Arizona into the south rim of the Grand Canyon, but it's going to give you really more of that feel as you travel through the beautiful pine forests. And before you know it, you travel into Southern California, my former home for almost 8 years, and beautiful weather, 60s to 70s on an average. I know we have some folks joining us from Southern California, very little to no humidity. So definitely consider this package for any of you that want to go the southern route and want to visit the Grand Canyon. Now, I did want to mention again, all rail vacations are customizable, right? So if you want to add days, if you want to take out days, if you want to create a package completely from scratch, you can absolutely do that. And what does customized mean? Let me just give you an example, everyone. If you look at a great 5-day, 4-night package to the Grand Canyon, you can add an extra night inside of one of the iconic lodges, such as El Tovar. That's the picture you see right there in the middle. You can also add an extra night in Los Angeles. This package happens to be round trip from Los Angeles, but any trip can be round trip right from your local Amtrak station. And when we talk about customizing, as I mentioned, you get to choose between a 3, 4, or 5-star hotel. You get to decide. All right, as we continue on with our coast to coast exciting opportunities, how about our America coast to coast from Washington, D.C. to San Francisco? So unlike America's majestic landscapes, which starts from New York but ends in San Francisco, here's a package that starts in Washington, D.C. and ends in San Francisco. And by the way, if you look at that picture up in the top, everyone, I took my family and I a couple years ago, my wife and I and our 3 children, we did Washington, D.C. And at night, we offer a Monuments to Moonlight tour. Absolutely fantastic. So you can get a chance to see all these great monuments as they're illuminated in the evening. And we always offer that either as an inclusion or as an optional excursion. All right, so keep that in mind. Not to mention Union Station, the train station in DC, absolutely fantastic. And I think you can see the trend. All the major iconic overnight journeys either start or end in the great city of Chicago. And when we talk Chicago, in the bottom right-hand corner, that is a picture of Union Station. Now, a little fun trivia for all of you, okay? In your question box, folks, on the right-hand side of your screen, just to have a little bit of fun, does anyone remember what is the name of the train that goes from Chicago out to Denver, out to Salt Lake City, out to San Francisco? Who here wants to type in on the right-hand side of your screen, what is the name of that train that goes from Chicago out to Denver, out to Salt Lake City, and over into San Francisco? On the right-hand side of your screen, folks, in the question box, please feel free to type in what is the name of that train. All right, Paula, yeah, okay, Paula has it. Yep, Dave has it. Susan has it. Fantastic. Dan, yes, absolutely. Keep them coming, everyone. Fantastic. I see a lot of you that have answers very close. Yep, Ron, you got it. Fantastic. Martha, you got it. Let's see. Pat, you are absolutely correct. It is called the California Zephyr. And this is the train that will also take you to the great city of San Francisco. So if you want a trip that goes coast to coast, but maybe a little bit shorter, and again, either starting or ending in the great city of Washington, D.C., this is certainly a trip to consider. Now, I mentioned earlier about going the southern route. Well, here's a trip, everyone, that's called our Coast to Coast Southern Rails, except this one really gives you the true flavor of the South. And you can see, if you look at the map, everyone, on the right-hand side, in some cities, such as New Orleans and San Antonio, we actually stay for 3 nights, okay, which is good, giving you a little more of the flavor of those great cities. But again, you can certainly add days or take out days on any of these trips. Now, the train you travel on from DC down to New Orleans, this is known as the Crescent. And again, all the trains from Chicago heading west are Superliner double-decker trains. But this is the train that will bring you to the great city of New Orleans, known for its nightlife, right? Known for its Cajun style cuisine, known for its jambalaya and beignets, right? So much great cuisine. Just like when I talk about Chicago, the delicious deep dish pizza. Well, the train that you travel on from New Orleans over into the great city of San Antonio is called the Sunset Limited. And speaking of San Antonio, one thing Texas, as I'm sure any of you that have been to Texas or located in Texas, they are known for their barbecue, right? Very, very popular. But here you have the Riverwalk up top in the picture. Above it is a uh, human-made lake, river itself, only about maybe 6 to 8 feet deep, but it's lined with shops and restaurants on either side. Of course, home of the Alamo, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner. Just a fantastic city, and we will spend a few nights here. And before you know it, after you leave San Antonio, then you head out west. And one of the last trips that I wanted to highlight, it's not specifically a coast-to-coast trip, but it's one of our most popular and our most affordable journeys that gives you multiple nights on board the train. So all the trips that I just showed everyone, you have the opportunity to spend, one night traveling from the East Coast to the Midwest, then another 1 to 2 nights traveling from Chicago out west. This is more for any of you that want to experience more of the trains versus the destinations. And the reason why I mention that, if you look at the red triangle, everyone, you'll see the number 2. And what the number 2 lets you know is you're spending multiple overnights on board the train, okay? So for any of you that want to spend extra nights on board the train, you could certainly do that. And what is the train that you travel on first on this particular package? It is called the Empire Builder. Now, some of you may want to stop off in Whitefish and Glacier, okay, which is along the Empire Builder route. This is located in the great state of Montana. I actually traveled there about 2 years ago. Amtrak has a train station right at Whitefish, folks, okay? So for any of you looking to travel this year, we are including Whitefish within the package. Any of you looking to travel in 2021, then of course you can include Whitefish or stop right in East Glacier, where we typically stay at Glacier Park Lodge for any of you looking to travel next year. Otherwise, it's 2 nights on board this fantastic train as it brings you to the great city of Seattle, home of the Seattle Space Needle, as you can see in the top left-hand corner, home of Pike's Marketplace down in the bottom left-hand corner. And I will say, Pike's Marketplace, if you've ever been to Seattle, home of where they throw the large fish above the tourist heads, also home to the first Starbucks that ever opened up back in 1971. And what's the train that you travel on from Seattle down to San Francisco? You are looking at it. The Coast Starlight, rated one of the top 3 most scenic train rides in all of the US. Now, this is the train, folks, that will take you from Seattle down to San Francisco, but this train actually goes, for any of you that are interested, it actually goes as far south as Los Angeles. But in this case, it brings you to the great city of San Francisco, where I will say, it's an easy day trip for any of you that may be interested. A day trip to Yosemite, a day trip to Redwood Forest, as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, maybe even over to Hearst Castle down in the bottom right-hand corner, okay? These are some of the great attractions located right nearby San Francisco. But what I love about this trip, everyone, take a look at the price that you see. All right, $16.99. That's a great value per person, 2 people to a room. Again, we do have single rates available. So definitely consider this as an option. Now, the last portion I wanted to mention before I have an exciting announcement and update to share with all of you is preparing for your rail vacation. What do you need to know? Well, first off, did you know you are allowed 2 free carry-on bags per person and 2 pieces of checked luggage per person? And here's the best part, everyone, for free, free of charge. So there is no charge for any of you to bring luggage. Last time I checked, most airlines, there is a charge unless you're part of a certain elite status with that airline. So this is a great highlight for all of you. Now, something important to mention to all of you, certainly that are looking to travel on board the train and looking for something different. Just like the airlines, of course, facial coverings are required on board the trains as well as in the train stations, as well as on board the throughway buses. All right. Enhanced cleaning protocols pretty much every hour upon the hour we are cleaning the inside, the outsides of the trains, the handles, the doorknobs, the toilets, okay, the showers, the vanities, making sure it's nice and clean for each and every one of you. Amtrak is now going cashless. So what does that mean? Credit cards are widely accepted at all the train stations as well as on board all the trains. Social distancing posters, pretty much allowing for that lucky 6 feet distance apart from one another. And trains are running at 50% capacity on purpose, everyone. All right. So, unlike some of the airlines that are starting to fill up their planes and in some cases middle seats, Amtrak is operating at 50% as of today for any of you looking to travel in the next few months on purpose, which allows for more room in between passengers. But I'm going to add one more point, and it's 2 words. That's actually not even on this list, folks, and that is private sleepers. Okay. Do you know if you upgrade to a sleeper, you actually can take off your mask, your facial covering if you choose? It's optional, but Amtrak does allow that from the comfort and privacy of your own room. But before I get to the rooms, folks, I did want to just give you a little overview on the seating and sleeping accommodations. And the first part is coach accommodations. And as I mentioned, as of today, Amtrak is only operating at 50% capacity on purpose. All right. There are no middle seats. So that's another big highlight. You never have to worry about being stuck in a middle seat. All right, 2 extra large seats on one side, 2 extra large seats on the other. They also have an outlet that you could charge your iPhone, your iPad, your laptop device if you choose. Plenty of space, as you can see, above the overhead for your carry-on bags. So rest assured, even when you're traveling during the day in coach seating, very spacious, lots of leg room. Now, I always like to say with everything that's changed in the world, of course, there's definitely some great silver lining moments that have happened with Amtrak Vacations. And one of those is now when you upgrade, for any of you interested in upgrading to a sleeper, do you know now you actually can board the train separately? You have the ability to board the train separately if you choose. So if you don't want to be in a large crowd or a long line, any of you that upgrade to a sleeper, certainly if you're traveling coast to coast, which we highly recommend, you'll be able to board the train separately. And what you're looking at right here, folks, this is our most popular and our most affordable category. This is a roomette. All right. And as you can see, it's bunk bed style. What you don't see inside of a roomette is its own private toilet or shower, but no worries. Remember, it's our most popular and our most affordable because right down the hall, we have what we call private yet shared toilets and showers. And the only people that have access to those toilets and showers are only people in sleepers. All right. So keep this in mind. And again, our most popular and our most affordable. And as you can see, you can just sit back, relax. If you do choose to take off your facial covering, you do have the ability to do that when you do upgrade to a sleeper, or you could just sit back, relax, enjoy the sight, scenery, sounds along the way, maybe read a book, listen to a little bit of music if you choose. But whatever category you do upgrade to, everybody has his or her own private accommodations with your own privacy door, which, just so you know, can be locked from the inside. There's a curtain you can close if you want to take a nap during the day or certainly in the evening for a good night's rest. But for any of you that want your own private toilet, shower, and vanity inside your room, folks, then you want to consider upgrading to a bedroom. And I will say, also, we're seeing now more than ever, more and more folks that are upgrading to bedrooms just to have that comfort, privacy, security, and peace of mind to know you have your own toilet, shower, and vanity inside the room. Now, bedrooms are going to be a little more expensive than a roomette. Of course, the rooms are a little bit larger in size, and the lower bunk bed, as you can see in the diagram, is actually 1.5 times as wide as the top bunk bed, which actually allows room for a small child. So for any of you that are traveling with a small child or children or grandchildren, you may consider a bedroom. I will mention too, my family and I last year, folks, and many of you could do this as well, we traveled on the auto train. Some of you may have been on the train or heard of the auto train. That is the one and only train from Lorton, Virginia, right outside of Washington, D.C., down into Sanford, Florida, outside of Orlando, that you can actually bring your own car, your own truck, your own motorcycle if you choose. Also, on some of our trains, we can also have what we call adjoining bedrooms, and that's what my wife and I and our family did. So then on one side of the bedroom, on one room, my wife stayed in the lower bunk bed with our youngest child, who's our daughter, 9 years old. And then on the other side, I stayed on the other side with our middle son, who's 10 years old. And then our oldest son stayed up, of course, on one of the top bunk beds, and he loved it. But we opened up the door in the middle so we could go back and forth between the rooms. So for any of you that are traveling, if you have a larger family or you're looking to travel with extended family or friends and you'd like to have adjoining bedrooms, just let us or let your local travel advisor know, and we'll make those arrangements. Now, I did want to mention too, when you do upgrade to a sleeper, you are allowed to bring your own alcoholic beverages on board the train, folks. All right. Now, whatever you may consume, it does need to be consumed from the privacy of your own room, but it is available, which is nice. So that's another great advantage as well when you upgrade to a sleeper. And I'm going to give you one more great advantage as well, which is actually something new right now that Amtrak's never offered before, with the exception of folks that have been booked in handicap accessible room, and that is any of you that upgrade to sleepers, you have the ability, if you choose, to have meals delivered right to your own private sleepers. All right. As you can see on the left-hand side, you can put the order in right from your own Amtrak attendant, and he or she can bring the meals to you, and you can enjoy it right from the comfort of your own room. And speaking of meals, I will mention, if any of you have any special dietary requests, just let us or let your local travel advisor know, okay? And we can make those arrangements for you. But you can order hot, fresh items off the menu for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Amtrak has gone to what's called flexible dining. Some of you may be familiar with this term, certainly if you've ever cruised over the years, but just allowing you that flexibility to eat where, what, and when you would like. All right. I did want to mention again, for any of you that may have joined us a little bit later, right now, folks, until the end of September of this year, we have our maximum flexibility offer going on. So really all that means, folks, is when you deposit with only $250 per person and you book before September 30th of this year to travel anytime, either this year or anytime in 2021, if you did need to change your travel date, if you did need to postpone your trip for whatever the reason is, okay, as long as you or your travel advisor lets us know 5 days prior to whenever you're planning to travel, we are waiving any and all change and cancellation fees. So basically, in a nutshell, we have overwritten our change and cancellation policy. Now, where can you find these trips? Certainly, you can visit us online. The best way, the easiest and fastest way is to pick up that phone. The phone number is listed down in the bottom right-hand corner, or contact your local travel advisor. But folks, we appreciate you being here. So I do have an exciting announcement to make to all of you, a great special that we have going on right now. But before I do, I did want to mention again, we go all over the US. So you know yourselves the best. If you do not want to fly, or you don't like flying, or you don't feel like driving, we can start your trip right at your local Amtrak station. Or if you want to fly, certainly you can book flights, or your local travel advisor can book flights for you, and we take care of everything else, okay? But you do have the ability to start right from your hometown Amtrak station. So here is the exciting special, folks, that I've been waiting to share with all of you. So if you have a pen, if you have a paper, if you have an iPad, an iPhone, a mobile device, okay, a camera, feel free to take a picture of this slide. But here it is, folks, okay? Any of you that book either with us or through your local travel advisor before the end of the day, before 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this Friday, August 21st, you could save up to $500 off per couple on any trip based on the number of nights. So if it's any of our vacations down in the bottom left-hand corner that are between 3 to 6 nights, which does include any overnight travel on board the train, if it's between 3 to 6 nights, we'll take $300 off per couple. If it's between 7 to 9 nights, we're going to take $400 off per couple. And if it is 10 or more nights, we are going to take $500 off per couple. Okay, folks? And all you need to do for any of you that are interested in any of these coast to coast trips or any other destinations that you want to customize or that we have available, if it's between any of these numbers of nights, you could save $300, $400 to $500 off per couple. Again, as long as you deposit $250 per person before the end of the day this Friday to travel anytime this year or anytime in 2021. So anyway, that's the exciting news. I did want to mention again, just as a reminder, to please make sure to download those helpful little flyers on the right-hand side. I do see we have some great questions that have come in, which is awesome. However, before I open it up to any questions that any of you may have, folks, if you'd be so kind, on the right-hand side of your screen, let's have a little fun. Folks, what destinations, especially with our exciting promotion going on right now, what destinations are you interested in and when? All right, so if everyone would be so kind, in your question box on the right-hand side, just type away, what great destinations are you interested in and when? All right, okay, here we go, everyone. I'm seeing lots of answers. Okay, hey, Pat, I see Glacier, Donald, the Grand Canyon, Alan, Mount Rushmore, fantastic, 2021, Los Angeles, 2021. Hi, Tracy, California, the Grand Canyon, Susan, National Parks, Francis, New Orleans, Sheila, Arches and Zion, we go there, absolutely. Rosie, DC, Chicago, San Francisco. Hi, Matthew, Grand Canyon, as soon as possible. I like that, absolutely. And folks, by the way, again, just a reminder, any of these trips, you can literally travel from as early as tomorrow up to 24 months in advance, okay? So for any of you that are looking for a last minute getaway, whether it's a 3 to 4 to 5 day trip or whether it's a 1 to 2 week long trip, or looking to plan next year or even into 2022, we can help you with that. So fantastic, everyone. Keep those answers coming. And while you're typing away, I did want to mention, folks, again, our numbers located in the top right-hand corner as well as down in the bottom right-hand corner. We are open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can certainly visit our website. The best way always is to pick up the phone, and that includes contacting your local travel advisor. So folks, if you work through a local travel advisor, that is absolutely fantastic. And again, they can even book flights for you, either one way or round trip, as well as the entire package. So whatever you prefer. All right. So with that in mind, folks, we are doing fantastic on time. As I mentioned, we'd be about 45 minutes, and I do see we have some good questions that have come in. So with that in mind, I'm going to open it up to any questions you have. And folks, stick around for another few minutes because some of your fellow travelers here may just ask a question that you were thinking of or you may find helpful. So anyway, first and foremost, thank you so much, everyone, for your participation. We got some fantastic folks represented from all over the United States. Hi, John. Love the train. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so thank you, John. So Don asked, what type of meals do they serve, and is it all you can eat type? Great question, Don. So it is a set menu. But if anybody has any special dietary requests, again, just let us or let your local travel advisor know. You can order off the menu. It's sit-down meals. So, breakfast, it would be eggs and, cereal and, oatmeal. It's a wide selection. Orange juice, coffee. Lunchtime, they have salads. They have sandwiches. Dinner time, they have steak. By the way, the signature steak, delicious. They also have seafood. They have pasta. They also have salad. So again, just a nice range of meals. And even though now you have the ability to order what you want off the menu and it can be delivered to your room, you also have the ability to also eat in the dining area. You would just work that out with your Amtrak attendant as far as what times and when to go, as of course they would want to have a scattered type of approach, so there's not as many folks in the same area at the same time. So let's see. Okay. Hi, Lavina. How would you get to the Grand Canyon from Florida? Great question, Lavina. Well, certainly one way is you could certainly fly out to Los Angeles and then take the train round trip from Los Angeles, which again is the Southwest Chief, or you would travel north up into DC, connect in through Chicago, and then Chicago you travel on the Southwest Chief down through New Mexico and into Arizona. So anyway, hope that helps, Lavinia. And any of our rail experts or certainly your local travel advisor can definitely help you with that. Hi, Susan. Is this PowerPoint available? Yes. So we are recording today's presentation. So all of you will get a copy of today's presentation to listen to again or share with your family or friends, whatever you choose. All right. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you, Donna. Let's see. With trains running every other day, how do you accommodate someone who wants to spend 3 nights in Chicago or Denver? Great question, Judith. We would just work that out with the schedule. Obviously, some trains are operating maybe 3 or 4 times a week, others are daily. So I always say it's like a puzzle, and it's a puzzle for us to help figure out for each and every one of you. So we would be more than happy to do that. And we do that all the time, Judith. So us or your local travel advisor can help you with that. Let's see. Hi, Sheila. Is the Capital Limited a superliner? Actually, the Capital Limited is not. So all the trains in the eastern United States, they are single level, whereas trains, from Chicago east in the eastern, they're single level. All the trains from Chicago west are double decker trains. Okay, so 2 levels. Let's see. Hi, thank you, Marianne. Let's see. Do we need to wear the mask during the trip? So yes, when you're obviously out in the open areas on board the trains, of course you would, but again, if anyone does upgrade to a sleeper, you do have the ability to take off your facial covering if you choose. Okay. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate your kind words. Glad you enjoyed it. Let's see. Hi, Sheila. How many specials and discounts can you apply to each trip? That's a great question. So Sheila, so right now, again, and actually Sheila's asking, let me just go back to this. So this right here is one of the biggest offers that I have seen since January of this year. This, again, is going on right now, but it only goes until Friday of this week, okay? Friday of this week. But as long as any of you that are interested in traveling coast to coast or any other destinations, if they're between 3 to 6 nights, 7 to 9 nights, or 10 or more nights, then you automatically will qualify to have these additional savings. And that's for any of you to travel anytime as early as this year or anytime in 2021. All right. Anyway, hope that helps. Thanks, Sheila. Let's see. Hi, Pat. Can you store your luggage at the station? Yes, you can, Pat. It depends on the train station. So obviously, Chicago, Union Station, you absolutely can. Some of the larger major train stations, you have that ability. Otherwise, you'd have to just keep luggage with you at some of the smaller stations as well. Let's see. Okay. And again, folks, let me apologize if I don't get to all your questions. I'm trying to read as fast as I can to try to keep us within the 45 minutes. Let's see. Hi, Billy. Can you connect to Canada train trips? You absolutely can. Now, obviously, the borders are closed right now. They're anticipating they're probably going to get extended to the end of September. But once the borders open, we do connect with Via Rail, which is the national train of Canada. So yes, once that border's open, any of you can connect into Via Rail either through the great cities of Toronto, Montreal, or Vancouver, whether you're looking at the Canadian Rockies or any great area in Eastern Canada. All right, let's see. Okay. Okay, moving along. Can you bring bikes? Hi, George. Yes, you absolutely can bring bikes on any of the trains. We do stop, yep, in Houston. Let's see. There is a stop, yep, over in Houston. And we have train stations all throughout Texas as well. So lots of great options throughout the great state of Texas. Let's see. Hi, Bill. Has the quality of meals returned to pre-COVID-19 standards? They actually have. And, it's actually been a real nice treat, too, because they are hot, fresh meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And again, now you have that ability if you do choose to eat right from the comfort of your own room, you absolutely can as well. So wanted to mention that. Hi, Janet. Is there air circulation in sleepers? Absolutely there is. Yep, absolutely. You'll have that. Let's see. Is there an Amtrak station in Harrisburg? Yes, Alan. Absolutely there is. Can you elaborate on bringing your own food and drink? Hi, Michael. Yes, I will tell you, when my family and I go every year, we always bring our own, snacks and goodies. I always joke. I say literally one of our carry-on bags is just filled with juices, snacks, and cookies for all the kids. So you absolutely can. It's just any alcoholic beverages. If you're in coach seating, that's not allowed. But if you do upgrade to a sleeper, you can also bring any alcoholic beverages as well. All right, let's see. Okay. Hi, Roberta. If you're on a sleeper and you miss a connection, what happens? We would just book you into another sleeper on the next train, assuming there is a sleeper available. Obviously, they run every day, but most of the time, you should be okay. And we would obviously try to book you either into a roomette or a bedroom, whatever category you were already booked in. Let's see. Okay. Um, hi, Joe. Our tours in the national parks and extra costs. Most of all of our packages, Joe, include sightseeing tours in all of our parks. There may be an entrance fee of maybe $5 or $10 that you may have to pay right there once you enter into the park itself. That's the normal, typical fee on an average, maybe up to $20 at most. But otherwise, everything else is included either for half days or full day guided tours. And we go to all the national parks, Joe, and that's for everyone, not only Grand Canyon folks, Yosemite, Yellowstone, Glacier. We definitely can help you. Okay. Oh, thank you, Anita. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michael. Let's see. Okay. Hi, Pat. Do you have a choice of lower or upper level with bedroom options? Absolutely, you do, Pat. Yep. You just let us know, which is great. Hi, Julia. Would love to take a family trip in December. What's the best option for Georgia babies? I like that. Well, son, December, obviously, from Georgia, you can. I got to tell you, I've been to DC in December, and I thought it was fantastic. It's a great city. I'm just looking at the train route right now. You can also, of course, head south if you want to be in a warmer destination into Florida if you choose. But it can go in either direction, north, south, or even out west, Julia. So definitely lots of great options, whether it's a 3-4 day getaway or even longer. All right, let's see. Thank you, everyone. And again, folks, want to definitely try to get to as many questions as I can. And if I am not able to get to your questions, please don't even think twice. Pick up that phone, give us a call, or contact your local travel advisor. Thank you, Pat. Is there Wi-Fi all throughout the trains? There is. It's available throughout the cities, small, mid to major cities. But when you travel into the national parks or some of the more rural country areas of the U.S., wireless is not available. But I always say, isn't that part of the whole experience, right? To travel on trains. Sometimes it's good to get detached, right? And I know that's happened every time I've traveled out to some of the beautiful national parks as well. Let's see. Hi, Lisa. How do you get onto the top bunk bed as an adult? They do have a little ladder, Lisa, and they also have a little gate that can close on the top bunk that almost kind of locks you in just as more of a security. It's like a little, like a netting, so to speak, that comes up and can lock you in just so you have that comfort and peace of mind. All right. Hi, Don. Sleepers do not have small refrigerators, but if any of you need anything refrigerated, you just ask your local, you ask your Amtrak attendant, and they do have kitchen refrigerators available in their kitchen. So if anyone needs to keep any medication cooled for whatever reason or anything you may need, you just let the Amtrak attendant know, and they'll help you any way they can. Let's see. Okay, here's a good one. Hi, Claudia. Can you do a sleeper on some of your journeys and then others do it on coach? Absolutely. So any trip can be a combination. You could do a roomette on one overnight journey on the same trip, and then on the next leg or the next train route on the same trip, you could do a bedroom or coach, whatever you choose. All right. Great question, Claudia. Thank you. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you so much. Let's see. Okay. Can park passes be used for entrance? Absolutely, Susan. Let's see. Oh, hi, James. Do you provide military discounts in addition for sleepers? So what I would do on that one, James, I would ask any of our vacation consultants to tell you more. We do have active duty military discount. So any active duty military for you and your spouses can qualify for up to 10% off on the rail portion of a package. So there's certain guidelines and restrictions. So depending on where and when you're looking to go, James, but obviously, first and foremost, thank you for your service. let me say that, James, first and foremost. But give us a call or ask your local travel advisor. But we do have a military discount available, yes, that we can help you with. Let's see. There is ice available, Sheila. Yep. It's not inside your sleeper, but it's available for anyone that's on board the train, whether it's coach, roomette, bedroom. You just let your Amtrak attendant know, and he or she will take care of that as well. Lisa, what credit cards are available? So Visa, American Express, MasterCard. Those are pretty much the main three that are used on board all the trains. All right, folks. Well, I know we went about 5 minutes over. I really appreciate all of you taking some extra time with me. And folks, I hope you enjoyed today's presentation as much as I enjoyed presenting. As I mentioned right at the beginning, we are seeing it. So many folks are traveling, or certainly will be traveling, or planning to travel in the next 1 to 2 years domestically before really traveling again internationally. So that is what we do. And again, for any of you that want something different, unique, whether it's a 3, 4, 5 day getaway or a 1 to 2 week cross country trip, maybe even including some of the national parks, Amtrak Vacations has you covered. So with that in mind, everyone, thank you so much for joining me. And again, if you're interested, pick up that phone. Certainly, if you want to take advantage of those extra savings before the end of this week, and give us or contact your local travel advisor, and any of us would be more than happy to help each and every one of you. Thank you all so much, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Take care.